Well, I think that you have to imagine the city where we're sitting, I'm sitting in right now, which is New York City. Imagine now 40 rockets being propelled here, landing in New York in the last 48 hours. What do you think the people of New York would say? They would say this is unacceptable. We cannot live like this. And of course, in Israel, the city of Sderot and now the city of Ashkelon is being rocketed continuously by terrorists who want to spread terror for innocent civilians. So the government will have to take action to stop it. I don't want to get into the details of this action, but you can be sure that we in the opposition, the loyal opposition, would support it. Any country, any government, any political system would not tolerate the continuous rocketing of its civilians.
We have to mention that there have been, of course, many Palestinians killed in Gaza in relation to the conflict. Between January 2005 and October 2007, 871 people, according to the United Nations. This is not a one-way street, is it, sir?
Well, I think it is. It's a one-way street in the sense that they're rocketing and we're responding. If they stop rocketing, we wouldn't respond. And we're not responding with indiscriminate rocketing. We're trying to target the Hamas terrorists who are firing at us. And anyway, the tally of civilians is a pretty peculiar, or the tally of casualties on either side is a pretty peculiar way to look at who's guilty. If that were the criterion, then I guess Germany was not the guilty party, but the Allies were, because the U.S. had about 1/4 the casualties of Germany, 1/20th the casualties. So that, look, if they stop the rocketing, everything will stop, all the suffering on both sides.
How do you stop these attacks, sir? How do you stop these attacks?
Well, it certainly turns out that it's not a political question, because we vacated every last inch of Gaza, and they're still firing at us. And when they're firing at Becky, you ask them, why are you firing? And they're saying, well, because we want to destroy the state of Israel, pure and simple, just like their patron Ahmadinejad, Hamas, the Palestinian militant organization, Islamic organization, is saying that their gripe is the existence of Israel. So there's nothing that you can politically negotiate. You don't negotiate your own demise. What you have to do is respond very forcefully, neutralize their ability to hit us, which is what the U.S. would do, England would do, Europe would, any country would do. Nobody would tolerate this for very long.
Said, let me quote to you what Barak has said of late. He said the deterioration is the fault of Hamas. Israel will reach the perpetrators of the Qassam rocket fire, and Hamas will pay a price for its actions. Do you not think that it is time that Israel talked to Hamas?
Well, what are we going to talk about? The method of our own destruction? When you're faced with an implacable enemy who seeks your annihilation, you don't really talk about him. If history has taught us, or you don't talk with him about achieving those goals. If history has taught us anything, it is that you can make peace with enemies who want to make peace with you, who want to end the conflict with you, as we've done with Egypt under Anwar el-Sadat, and with Jordan under the late President, the late King Hussein. But when you're faced with an enemy like Hamas, it says, we don't care if we talk to you or don't talk to you. We want to annihilate you. There's nothing to talk about, but there is a lot to do to defend our people, and we should do it. And if the government does it, they'll enjoy our support.
Finally, do you envisage a return then to the occupation of Gaza? You've alluded to the idea of military operations, if indeed that were the last best case solution to this. Do you see a return to occupation?
Well, I don't think anybody's interested in occupying Gaza, or holding on to Gaza, annexing Gaza. I have no interest in that. I don't think any serious Israeli leader wants that. But one thing we do want to make sure is that our cities, our villages, our children are not rocketed daily. It's intolerable. You know, you have this horrendous situation where people cannot live their normal lives. And the only gripe that Hamas has with Israel is the fact that Israel is there, period. So I think we have to take the action, whatever it necessitates, to stop this. And I think that Hamas, that the entire international community should support Israel at this time for doing what any country would do.